Overflows.
Surrendering the process for transformation. As I continue with insights into life, love and light by Nivedita, we have arrived at an important crossroad. We have to decide which way to proceed for transformation. Remember, surrendering is the process for transformation. Let me explain this process in details. Surrendering is a process of realization of oneness both within and without. For this process to continue, you need a method and a technique. God is not the method and cannot be, because you cannot relate to God. Master is formfulness of cosmic oneness and harmony. At the same time, He is the embodiment of formlessness. You can relate to Him. Therefore, Master is the method or way or technique for surrendering to heaven. Remember, existence is like a coin. It has two sides. One side is love, oneness, and harmony. Not separate from one, separate instead, one reality, truth. The other side is separation, conflict, and disharmony. In aggregate, this is ignorance or ego. Then what is surrender? When there is no ego or egocentric identities or conditionings guiding your life and living, you become one with existence. And only that oneness is freedom, not that in oneness freedom is. Know this as surrendering. While you exist separate, know this separation is false. Really, you are not separate. Also, you cannot be. You are part of existence and not a mechanical part, instead an organic part. You cannot exist even for a single moment separate from existence. You breathe it every moment. It breathes you every moment. You live in a cosmic whole. Your ego gives you a false feeling of separate existence. Because of that false feeling, you start fighting existence. When you fight, you are in bondage. When you fight, you are bound to be defeated, because the part cannot win against the whole. And because of this fight with the whole, you feel a bondage and everywhere limited. Wherever you move, an invisible wall comes. That wall is nowhere in existence. It moves with your ego. It is part of your separate feeling. Then you struggle against existence. In that struggle, you will be defeated constantly. Also, in that defeat, you feel bondage or limitation. Separation is bondage. Oneness is freedom. Not that you become free. Remember this, you are no more. So it is not that you become free. You are no more. Really, when you are not, freedom is. How to express it is a problem. When you are not, freedom is. Buddha is reported to have said, you are not going to be in bliss. When you are not, the bliss is. You are not means ego, the egocentric identities and conditionings. You are not going to be liberated. You are going to be liberated from yourself. So freedom is not freedom of ego or freedom for ego. Instead, freedom is freedom from ego. And if you can understand this, this freedom implies freedom from the ego, then surrender and freedom are one. Then they mean one. And if you can make ego as the standpoint from which you think, then ego will say, why surrender? Because if you surrender, then you cannot be free. Then you can become a slave. When you surrender, you become a slave. But really, you are not surrendering to someone. This is the second point to be understood. Really, you are not surrendering to someone. You are simply surrendering. There is a vast difference between simply surrendering and surrendering to someone. There is no one who will take your surrender. If there is someone and you surrender to him, then it is a sort of slavery. Really, there is not even a God to whom you are surrendering. And when we talk about God, that is just to find you something to help you to surrender. Surrendering rests on 4 pillars. Aspiration on the part of the seeker, confidence in one's capabilities and trust, devotion and sincerity, total meditation on the part of the seeker. On these 4 pillars is a structure spontaneously happens. There echoes cosmic sound, flows cosmic energy field as consciousness, being with that energy field, overflowing the fragrance of that consciousness together is meditative way of life and living. Just rejoicing or dancing in that energy field spontaneously is what we know as meditation. Thus, surrendering is the way of spontaneously living through that understanding each moment, and the way for transformation. By surrendering, it is meant that you surrender the ego, you surrender the separation, you surrender the wall separating, you become one. That is reality. So, whatsoever you are surrendering is just a dream, a concept, a false notion. You are not surrendering really. You are just surrendering the false attitude. The moment you surrender this false attitude, you become one with existence. Then there is no conflict. Deep within each one of us flows a stream of feelings or emotion. Still, there is another stream flowing. Know this stream of thoughts. Thoughts and emotions both arise within us as we interact with objects and beings on a moment-to-moment basis. Thoughts and emotions always flow in different directions and remain conflicting. There remains a conflict and disharmony within. When thoughts and emotions start flowing in harmony with one another, another stream, a new stream surfaces. This you may call intuition or inner voice. Our emotions remain visible through our gestures and expression, hence like crystal clear stream, while thoughts remain discreet. As a result, the color of our thoughts remain dark. As thoughts and emotions starts flowing into one another, the color of the stream gets clearer. the vision gets clearer. This is mystical and mythological as well. With this free flowing into one another, the invisible stream surfaces. This is intuition. Your life begins to move in a totally different yet spontaneous and natural way. This confluence of emotions, thoughts, and intuition gives birth to the blossoming of cosmic consciousness. All this is the process of surrendering. When this happens, a totally different and spontaneous and natural way of life and living becomes your way, then there comes the blossoming of cosmic consciousness. Enough for now.